when we listen to a concert and we come towards the end of the concert, there are some tilanas which are there which are going to stay on this planet till human beings exist. Okay, for example, da 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 da. Da 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 da. Unbelievable compositions, or for that matter, even these tilanas, they bring a smile to your face. So, do you know who's composed this? Okay, guess. Let me see. All right, so this is none other than the greatest. When you say the name violin, this name comes as an attachment to the name violin. Violin, Padma Bhushan, Sri Lalgudi Jayaraman sir. So these are composed, these great tilanas, and many, many, many more such compositions have been done. So today marks the 90th birthday of sir. And if he would have been here, it would have been such a wonderful thing. But even though he's left this planet, I think his music is there with us to stay forever and ever. And today we have somebody who is really special. We have the one and only Padma Shankar, who is a very senior disciple, who has been a senior disciple of Lalgudi sir. And, we are going to get some insights about his life, about his compositions, about how he was, his classes, his concerts, his accompanying style, so many things. So let's welcome Padma Shankar. Hello,
Namaste.
Padma. Namaste. Welcome to this.
Thank you.
Uh,
Thank you, sir.
it's a special occasion. It is, and we are really indeed privileged and honored to have you with us, because who better to represent the Lalgudi Jayaraman Gharana than you, who has you know uh, seen him, who has experienced his music, who has learned from him in such close proximity that we who are in so much awe of him, we look up to him, and we just kind of cherish his music. We would like to know more about Sir Lalgudi sir. So welcome to this tribute section.
Namaskaram, and thank you very much, Shankarji, for that beautiful introduction. It has indeed been my blessing that I was a student, I still am, and I always will be a student of Lalgudi Jayaraman sir for more than 15 years now. And all the things you said about him, being in awe, I still am. very much in awe of him, his persona, his music, and his musicality and his perception of music. So, with all that, it would be my privilege to be able to share what little I know with the world so that they know him a little bit more. Thank you.
So, we all know that he was born in 1930, and his contribution has been unparalleled. The the kind of uh, depth he had in his music, the kind of detailed playing. Every anuswaram, every virga, every inflection. Do you think that he was special because his playing resembled the voice closest?
First thing that strikes about Lalgudi sir's violin, when you hear the violin, not like a musician, just like a layman, is that it just touches your heart. It catches you straight away. You may not know anything about what is the raga he's playing, the swara he's playing, nothing. There's something brilliant happening there. It's nice, it sounds good. That's the first feel you get. But there are different layers of his music. And the next layer would be, oh, he's playing this swara, it is this raga, this is this tala, this is this composition. The thing beyond that of, oh, that pretty is there in this raga. Oh, that briga is allowed here. Oh, you can play this fast. Oh, you can play this clearly. That's the next level. So, sir always says in learning or in music, there are two basic levels. I'll use a little Tamil words and I will try to explain it closest to English later. ஒன்று வந்து பிரமிப்பு, இன்னொன்று ரசிப்பு. So Brahmip is what you see immediately. It's the grandeur, it's the big thing, the big screen. Oh, amazing, Bahubali kind of a feeling. But then that will only stay a little while, because if there is a grandeur bigger than that, then this one will be forgotten. So your music should first attract. The next part is, does it touch? Is there an emotion involved? That, and that will come only if there is brain used first. So there's Brahmippa, then there is a mind involved, then it touches the heart. When all these three combines, that's when it stands out. It is pristine and it reaches the soul, and it is time tested. It lasts beyond its time. So this was what I think in small words explain what his music is all about.
I still remember when we used to listen to music on the LP player, and there was this LP which used to play every morning. That's what I'm saying. There are some things that get embedded in your heart so strongly. His first note of the Mohanam Alapane there. You can go back 25 years in your head, and that thing plays, that rings. So that was the impact that he had. It was nothing, it was just few notes of Mohanam. The mo da, da, da. That whole sound, I mean, it just created an ambience of its own, which was the Lalgudi Jayaraman ambience. Mango, mathematics, and elephants. What is this connection with Lalgudi sir?
Lalgudi sir, like I told you, is has so many beautiful and different facets to him. The most important quality in sir that I saw was he has a very childlike disposition. And you never see a child hold back appreciation. If something is happy or something he likes, he immediately grabs it and he wants it. So sir always had that kind of a thing. And I think it was his upbringing. So he was brought up in a small village of Valadi, and then they moved to Lalgudi. There, the only source of, I think, then entertainment was the temple. And the temple had elephants. So sir was always fascinated by the elephants, and everything that he was fascinated by and that he used in his life, he equated to music some very beautifully to us. So when he says elephant, and even as a student when I was learning from him, in T Nagar, there used to be a monthly procession of the elephant will come from the Kovil every teru, and everybody will give fruits and offerings to the elephant. So as soon as we hear the bell of the elephant, whatever song we are doing, we have to stop and rush to see the elephant, because sir would have already been there on the road and we have to run behind him. So, and he would say that. So he say, see how God has made the elephant. He says he's got the biggest ears. What does a musician need? He needs to listen. Use your ears. And then, have you seen his eyes? Elephants' structure, like the smallest are his eyes. Why? He says, because the eyes are the most distracting things in for a human being. And then he has only one trunk. So he says, mouth, we have one, use it less. If you have to use it to sing, use it to chant. And the biggest learning for the elephant, he said, is when such a huge form is walking on the street, you don't hear the thud of the elephant. He says he treads so gently. So that's how your bowing should be, gently, like the breeze. Elephant was again equated to our learning. And then me being from Bombay, we used to have this argument forever, I'm sure. Which is the sweetest mango? Apus or Imam Pasand? So Lalgudi sir was always like, Imam Pasand, you don't know. You should eat this and see. I say, you should eat apus and see. So even the mango also has learned to music. It's like the mango has a tough exterior. Now, but nobody eats the skin of a mango. We only eat the juice. So he would say the same thing. He says swaras are important like that because it covers the melody. That's the foundation. Without that, the mango has no form. You won't call it a mango. You can't hold a pulp. You need it, but you cannot enjoy it like that. You'll have to take off that and then you can enjoy it. So your music should be like that, like the juice. It can be pulp immediately. It should you will say the juice should come right into your mouth straight away. You should enjoy the flavor of the raga and the rasas, just like that. So, mangoes, elephants, music, all together in one person.
And of course, the kind of mathematics that he used to do in all this, his tilanas and his, while he's just playing Kalpana Swarams, so imaginative. One thing that I noticed about his Kalpana Swarams is he used to always take the first two, three notes of the Kriti, especially the notes and the phrasing of the Kriti, and base the calculation on those first three notes, and then it used to come and land in such a way that the third korvai, I mean the third repetition, is actually the lyrics of the Kriti. Was that a Lalgudi Jayaraman speciality?
So this, what you have explained, is actually called a poruttam. Poruttam, it's like apt. The closest word I have is apt. Apt ending to the sign line. So I can go examples after examples after examples. So this was a trait which actually was started by G.N. Balasubramaniam. My guru was influenced by every musician. So he always liked to call himself that. He said, I'm like Wali. Have you heard the story of Wali and Sugriva? So Wali always took 50% of the opponent's strength straight away. So whenever he sat on stage, 50% was already his strength. And then he would observe what new things used to come and make that his strength. And all through the time I have been with Sir has learned from every note, from every concert. He used to come back and mentally take note. Okay, today I learned this. Today I made a mistake here. This was a beautiful portam. I have to use this. He used to keep a mental note and note it down so that he could use it to better himself.
Can you give an example of a Puruttam?
Yeah, so I will use one of Sir's compositions itself. This is a Jati Swaram in Rasika Priya. Sanida pada pamaga maga sari gama pada ni sanida pada pamaga maga sari gama pada ni sanida pada pamaga maga. So he's got these charanams for it. So if I sing you one without the Purutam, you'll understand the Purutam better. The first one. Sari sani da pada pamaga re sani sare ga ma pada ni sa. This is like a normal swara, no Purutam. So the fourth, the last one. ma pa ma ga ri sa re sa ni re sa ma ga pa ma da pa ga ma ga ga ri sa ni da pa ma pa da da pa ni sa ni ma pa da pa ma ni ma ga ma pa 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 ga ma pa da 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 pa da ni sa re sa sa ni sa re sa ni da pa ga ma da pa ma ga ri sa sa re re ga ma pa da da ni sa sa ni da da pa pa ma ga ga ri sa ni sa re sa re sa ma pa da pa ma pa da pa pa ni sa re sa ma re sa ni da pa da pa ma ga.
Beautiful. I mean, total work of a genius. This is amazing, amazing, amazing. I mean, so and was he very? And you were saying that he always upgraded himself. I think that is just an extension of just being a student forever. And that is what you learn from these great people, where you remain a student forever and you keep learning, keep learning, keep learning, and keep evolving. And so, since he was so particular, he used to maintain daily diaries and all that, or was he very, very particular about that, or was he just, everything was in his head, or he used to document everything and keep.
Dalgudi sir was a very meticulous person. Okay, so he has had his diary and his from the very first concert he played in 1942 when he was a 12-year-old. He has that notice. There used to be a notice that time. That notice he had and he showed me. Can you believe that? So that meticulous a person. Irre violin Isai with his father. That was his first concert. So I had the privilege of documenting everything for him because I have a good handwriting. He made me write down every concert date wise. If it was an accompanying concert, who was the main artist, whom he accompanied, who was the mridangist, where the concert was held, and the date. So if you go and see, I had I think 50 years of documented for him, and he used to write every night diligently in his diary, and not like the normal diaries that we would think, today was a great day, I had this, nah. That would also be there. If he had eaten something special like an imam pasand, he would describe to that detail how he enjoyed that. Or if he composed something, he would write how he composed. And every concert he did, it's amazing that he used to be so critical about himself. He used to self analyze so that he was always the upgraded version the very next moment. The minute he critiqued himself, the next minute that mistake would be out of his life forever. In today's relevance, it would be right to say that Lalgudi Jayaraman sir was with an inbuilt software of auto upgradation.
Of course, one can understand the knowledge of ragas, one can understand the knowledge of, the technique of playing, perfection in playing, depth in playing. But how did he get this laya, the beauty of playing with rhythm, and his calculations and his, the way he used to, develop the kalpana swarams to fit in so beautifully, and not only that, complement the main artist if he's an accompanying artist, and of course when he's a solo artist, of course, I mean, he was on a roll, that's needless to say. But whoever he was accompanying, it was not like he was trying to overshadow that person. If that person used to say A, then he used to say A plus one and just give it back silently. So, where did this knowledge of rhythm come from? Did he learn the mridangam, or was he influenced by mridangam players? I mean, was he influenced? Who were his people who influenced him generally to compose music?
He was a person, I think, who took inspiration maximum from nature. And he used to see, he used to visually photograph sound with his ears. It's a very funny way of saying that, and that's how he used to keep saying, photograph the sound with your ears, he would tell me that. When you photograph with your ears, your eyes are focused and then you can visually see it, the movement. So my first lesson in rhythm, will you believe this? All he did was this. I'm not tapping it on the table, I'm doing it on my hands. This is how he clapped. And he said, repeat. That's all. I just repeated it. It was not a big deal for me. So then he said, very good. He said, Sabash first. So I said, why is he saying Sabash was such a simple act? I mean, I came to do Ragam, Tanam, Pallavi and all, and this is like any child can do this. Then he said, no, not any child can do this. I said, really, what was so integrate about this? He said, no, this is the first words of a song, one. But you picked up my laya, you picked up exactly the distances between that and the silences without even thinking. You just emulated. That's the first step in learning, he said. So the song was Nada Tanu Manisham.
That is so amazing, you know. It's not only about the beat itself, it's about the silence in between the beats, you know. So you have to grasp that also and emulate the silence also. That is the beauty. Amazing, amazing. So I mean, he was from a lineage of Saint Tyagaraja, is it? I mean, he learned from a lineage of Saint Tyagaraja. Who was his guru, and who are the other people whom, and what is it? What were the main things that attracted him, and he got influenced by whom?
I told you he was a person who was influenced maximum by nature, but that was much later in life. So, as a child, he grew up in an atmosphere where his grandma used to tell him stories and sing small kind of folk tunes. I don't know, I don't even remember the tune because when he sang it, he would say something like Maad mekum porche draya draya, songs like this. I say, sir, really, this is not even musical. He said, no, but as a child, I was fascinated that sound draya was making some nice. Oh, it's got some nice kind of a vibration to it. I used to love that, and I used to run around doing that sounds. And then they were not in a place where they had TV and all those kind of things. So he has to run to the tea shop at the end of the road. That's as a child, he used to go there. His guru was his father, Lalgudi Gopal Iyer, who was the son of Valadi Radhakrishna Iyer, who was also a violin vidwan, who was the son of Lalgudi Rama Iyer, who was the disciple of Tyagaraja, direct disciple of Tyagaraja. So they come under the lineage of Tyagaraja, and in fact, this was also discovered by my guru only because he didn't know. It was all lost in history. One day he was in Mysore Palace looking at all the paintings in the Mysore Palace, and the people who were with him said they were reading out those Vidwans names. They were Vidwans. So they said Lalgudi Rama Iyer. He said, Lalgudi? Who's that? So then he went back and researched, and they found out that that was his ancestor who was the direct disciple of Tyagaraja. And he was very, very famous for his Pallavi singing exponent, and he was also a violinist. It seems he used to keep a lemon on his head, and he used to accompany the Pallavi without a shake on the head. And Lalgudi sir's party used to tell him that story. Muthu Lakshmi party was, they say, nothing, only the hands were moving, the head was not moving, but the music was moving. That still he used to be. So if you see Lalgudi sir's posture on the violin, it's always majestic. You never see him hunched. It was always like this, and as though the violin was an extension of his body, like a third hand. So that was his lineage.
And his, I've noticed one thing. Maybe I'm completely wrong. His way of holding the violin was slightly more horizontal than other people. Is it almost at a 30-degree or 30-35 degree angle to the? Is it correct what I'm saying?
Yeah. So this is usually the position of any violinist. So it is straight, and they would keep their chins here, and this is how usually it's played because you can't hold the violin otherwise. It's going to slip. Sir's way of holding the violin is this. So it used to be slightly under his collarbone, and you see there's already a movement here. It's not here. It's here. So now the leeway like this gives me the place I can hold it straight. I don't have to bend on this. So even as a girl, because when I came to Lalgudi sir, I was not holding the violin like this. So he said, it's going to you to start right there. So first hold it like this. And my first lesson was, he said, if you do not sit straight with your back straight and your spine erect, I'm going to tie a pole on you so that you stay like this. So my lessons in class also were in front of a mirror so that I could see myself. Say, see your posture, you're hunching. See your bow, see like this. All these kind of, he would call them conestays, mannerisms. Says avoid.
Okay, now coming to the most important thing where Sir was famous for, and he, kind of, uh, you know, established something called the Tilana. I mean, are you aware? I mean, I don't know how many Tilanas has he composed himself.
He's composed many, 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 many. There is two books of Tilanas already, around 40, 45, I guess. But Tilana compositions, actually, I don't think he composed Tilanas because he wanted to compose Tilanas. It is like many of his compositions, they were requests. So, you know Tilanas before this, Shankarji. With Tilana, one of the old contemporaries, do you know this Kamas or the Purna Chandrika? No, no, not
I
Lalgudi
want
sirs.
Kamas one. Dun, 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 muzani dum, dun, 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 da, 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 dim, da, 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 dum, dun, 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 dum. Yeah, these are the regular ones. Yeah.
So this is, you know that the tilanas of those days, yeah. So you know that the earlier traditional tilanas were small tilanas. They were not like a compositional beauty. Pallavi will be one line, tam tam tam, udani tom tanana, finish. Nadra tom tadani, that is the anupallavi. So Lalgudi sir, like he was a person who has taken influences from everywhere. And one of the, I never expected this from sir because I'm from Bombay, obviously. He loves ghazals. Can you believe that? I've had lessons with him listening to ghazals. And he doesn't understand one word of Hindi, forget Urdu. So he does not, he only saw the music part of that. And he saw it like a little child, Shankarji. Like, so I give you an example. सलोना सा सजन है और मैं हूँ. Okay, he'll say stop, 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 stop. और now play that on the violin. So, how as a violinist I could maximum do sada ni ma. So, sada is in one string, ni ma is in another string. So ta ta அப்படிதான் வரும். He says, shit. Think again. How can you play this? You have to sound like Asha Bhosle on the violin. Oh, yes. So that means you have to play it on that string. Go to the lowest string and play, which means you have to practice more. Oh, that jaru gets missed otherwise. And the same thing. Oh, ஒடிச்சு வருதும்பார் சங்கதி ஒடிச்சுனா there's a disjoint in the note. Oh, ऐसा नहीं है. So that also has to come on the violin. So where to stop the bow? From him, the biggest learning I had was where to stop, where to be silent.
Amazing. So, I mean, he must have composed what, about 50, 60 Tiranas at least?
I don't know the correct figure. I can give you the right figure, but whatever he has composed is equal to 4,000, because each of those tilanas you cannot find or discover a phrase in that raga which is not there anymore. He has used everything.
Yeah, and I think pretty much if you learn the Tilana in that particular raga, you have pretty much explored the entire raga. And if you decode the Tilana, and if you decode the Tilana, and if you're intelligent enough, if you decode each phrase in different tempos and sing that as Akaram, Ukaram, if you sing that as Sargam, you pretty much get a chance to explore the raga to the fullest and even more than that. So that is, I think, what a contribution to.
And Shankarji, let me tell you again about little tilanas. I told you he was very influenced by nature. So every time he taught a tilana, he would tell me how that visual aspect in the tilana is. Tilana is usually just rhythmic syllables. So if I sing this Madhuvanti tilana, he said, I'll sing it and then I'll again explain what he said. Ta, ta, ga, ma, pa, ni, sa. So, tattadim tadim jam tanam tatom tridim nadridani tom tridani tadaratani tom taradani tom Dim tom dim cham dim tata dim. So this was the tilana. So he says this is like the falling of leaves in autumn. So he says, how, yeah, so dhim tom dhim cham dhim ta. So the leaf is saying, I don't want to fall from the tree, I want to be stuck to the tree. But the season says, no, you have to fall. So it's like, I'm not going to fall. So dhim tom, it could only do this. So I don't want to go. Dhim cham, some more nature is dragging it. But the still leaf is not giving up. Dhim ta, that nature has dragged it down. So it's like that. So it says everything he thought like that.
Fascinating, because music is visual, you know. You have to visualize. If you visualize, I mean, it just opens up a new world. So it's amazing knowing how he used to visualize music and applied it. You know, it's very easy to we'll visualize 100 things, but we should be able to apply it, no? So that was his beauty. So coming to the question about his latter part of his life, when you used to go there the last 15 years, I'm sure that you spent a lot of time there. What was the kind of environment, how he used to teach you?
My classes were never like a class. It's like not a 45-minute or a 1 hour class. So every day morning I have to go to sir's house by 8 o'clock. By 7:45 I'll be there, because 8 o'clock his day starts. After his routine, his puja, he'll be there in the music room ready and waiting at 8 o'clock. And I will be there. And then we revise the lessons that we learned the previous day. So there were two forms to my learning. As a violinist, I had to also learn to sing. He would never let me touch or play any song that I could not sing. And he said that was very important. He said, I don't need a violinist to sing beautifully. I need them to sing, which means I know they understood the tala, they understood the laya, they understood the gap. That's all. So I have to sing. So we used to have these beautiful group classes every evening, weekday, because then all the kids used to go to school. So 4 o'clock to around 7:38, we had a group of 10 people sitting and learning compositions. So that 8 o'clock, I get back home, finish dinner, practice that from 9 o'clock to around 12 in the night, and again wake up at 5 in the morning to practice, because at 8 o'clock, whatever I learned the previous evening, I had to by heart it and play it on the violin. Whatever it was. No excuse, no looking at the book, no saying I didn't understand, nothing.
My God, that is some training, huh? No wonder you play like this. It is, I mean, so much to learn from just the way he used to teach. So, I mean, we can just go on and on talking about Sir. So, really, I mean, today let us all celebrate his birthday together. And, if he would have been there, it would have been wonderful. But he's a maestro who's going to remain in our hearts forever. So thank you so much, Padma. You have been really, really amazing. Thank you for all the insights and all the little nuances which I don't think anybody else would have given. Wishing you also a very, very happy Sir's birthday. Let us all celebrate together. And thank you for coming and giving us this wonderful, beautiful set of words which mean a lot to us. Thank you.
Thank you very much for having me and asking me these beautiful questions so that I could give you something more that maybe everyone didn't know about Lalgudi sir. The only thing which I can tell you that he used to say was, when you give yourself, your thought, your mind, your body to something like music, he said, like, give your mind, your thought, your everything to music, music will give itself to you. It will just walk into you.
Superb sharing these things with you, Padma. Thank you for coming and thank you for being part of this uh, special day. Have a wonderful one.